40inbox.com here, and we're going to be reacting to the stupidest ways people have lost their bitcoins. So I thought this would be a pretty interesting read. So the only thing people hate more than losing money is the person who lost it for them. Not your keys, not your coins is a mantra many in the cryptosphere follow. Two rules that anyone should live by are: rule number one, keep your private keys safe. Rule number two, never forget rule number one. So there are plenty of people with stories of getting rich. This article, however, focuses on the less fortunate ones who failed to cash in on Bitcoin owing to a combination of bad luck and, for the lack of a better word, stupidity. So out with the old and with the new. Well, you can't just throw away your old computer in the attic just because Bitcoin's value did not jump up. This one guy did just that. This was the year 2010, a simpler time, many years before the Bitcoin explosion. Sale Turner mined 2 Bitcoins when it was pretty much worthless. So much so that he dumped his old computer in the attic. 7 years later, when Satoshi's creation reached new highs, only then did Atlanta based software developer remember mining the coins, but it was too late. The pretty much non functional computer and all the data was gone with the wind, and this treasure hunt ended on a sour note. Talk about a landfill site tragedy. While we talk about this less glamorous group of Bitcoiners, how can we forget James Howell as an IT worker from Newport? This was the time when Bitcoin was around $130 when Howell claims to have thrown the hard drive away. You might ask where? Well, a landfill site. While he sold his system on eBay, he did keep the hard drive that had his Bitcoin private keys in a drawer at home. This hard drive somehow made its way to the general waste bin at his local landfill site soon after, which it was buried on site, he claimed. So, a crash computer. The subheading pretty much sums it up. A person who goes by the name Dalton Mackey purchased 25 bitcoins and placed them in a wallet. After his computer system crashed, he got a new one forgetting all about his bitcoins. Only after the crypto boom did it occur to him that he could have been today. He came, he purchased, he forgot. We all have that one friend who lost their wallet at the mall or left their phone at Starbucks, but a bag containing the USB of Bitcoin private keys? Meet John. In 2012, the then college kid bought 10 Bitcoins for which he had a USB that contained the private keys of the coins. Long story short, he lost a lot of money when he left his bag somewhere. What's that yoke there? An Irish drug dealer who goes by the name Clifton Collins distributed the 6,000 Bitcoin across 12 newly created accounts, splitting 500 Bitcoin among each one of them. He then printed out the keys for all of his 12 accounts on a piece of paper, which he claims to have stored in an aluminum cap of his fishing rod case. Cutting to the chase, the drug peddler was arrested for cannabis trafficking. On top of it, his landowner threw away many of Collins' non-dopey stuff, which included, guess what? His fishing rod. This is the sad tale of the Irish man who lost his bitcoins. On the bright side, he came to terms with his loss and said that it was punishment for his own stupidity. Let's not forget Wired. We were stupid, but not alone. My Schultz Wired. Staffers at the San Francisco office of Wired amassed 13 bitcoins, which were mined using a mining device by the now defunct Butterfly Labs in 2013. But today, there's none. They forgot their private key, and now no one remembers the 64-digit string of random numbers. And the Bitcoin hater who did not lose bitcoins. Peter Schiff gets an honorary mention on this list. The gold bug forgot his password and blamed Bitcoin for it. A devout hater of the cryptocurrency, Schiff mistook his PIN for his wallet password and took to social media on a peaceful Sunday morning to lament that his wallet was corrupted. He later on tweeted that his Bitcoin mystery was solved and that he got logged out after his app was updated. And guess what? The gold bug has never known or used a password or never had a copy of his seed phrase. So this is actually like a copy of the Twitter post. So Peter Schiff at Peter Schiff. I just lost all the Bitcoin I have ever owned. My wallet got corrupted somehow and my password is no longer valid. So now, not only is my Bitcoin intrinsically worthless, it has no market value either. I knew owning Bitcoin was a bad idea, I just never realized it was this bad. So, feel free to give your thoughts on this. This is all pretty funny, but this is actually way more common than people actually think. Because the thing is, Bitcoin, when it first started out, a lot of people just thought it was fun. A lot of people thought, oh, this is like a cool kind of like concept. Oh, this is kind of, it'd be just nice to have a sum of it, right? And the thing is, because it was worth so little, many people just did not care about it or completely forgot about it, right? Think of it like this, right? Say that you were to buy a pack of gum, right? And you used and chewed some of the gum in there, but you left maybe a few slices, right? A few strips, right? Like that five gum or like, I don't know, whatever type of gum, stride, whatever, right? So you still have three pieces of gum in this pack of gum, but because this pack of gum cost only like $2 or $3, you completely forget about it because it's not any impact on your life. And that's the same thing with Bitcoin. A lot of people just like viewed it as like, oh, this thing is basically worth this, kind of cool, kind of like a novelty, but no one really cares about it, right? And so you have many people who have probably gotten free Bitcoin, bought and sold things with Bitcoin back in the day that completely forgot about it because it just wasn't worth anything. And because they didn't have faith in it, or again, because it just wasn't really worth anything, they just completely forgot about it, right? Which potentially caused them to miss out on literally millions, if not billions of dollars. So another way to like really look at this situation and learn from it is that wherever you put your money, whatever you spend money on, care about it. Care about it in the sense like be aware that, hey, I'm spending money on whatever it is that I'm spending money on, right? Like, don't be disconnected with whatever it is that you spend money on, and you'll end up doing pretty well, right? Because, like, if you were like really aware, like, hey, I just spent money on this thing because I thought it was cool, well, I mean, guess what? Like, I worked for that money, I traded my time for that money, or I sold something to get money to buy this thing. I'm going to respect it. I'm going to actually be like, hey, okay, I bought this thing. Let me take care of it. Right? This is the same kind of concept of like, people who end up buying a car and then like literally treating the car like crap. Right? Like, hey, guess what? You just bought that car. You might as well treat it well. Right? Because you worked hard to buy that car. Same thing with your phone. You spent money on that phone, probably spent over $1,000 on that phone if you bought like the brand new iPhones or Samsungs or whatever. You might as well treat it well, right? And so that's just like a thing to really understand. Like anything that costs money, have a different view on it. Don't be disconnected. Be like, hey, that thing has some sort of value, and I'm either trading my time or my energy in this item, right? So I'm going to respect this item enough to at least treat it well or do be like basically aware like, hey, I have this thing now. By the way, if you want to learn how to get a debt, go to 40inbox.com.